Welcome back to the Green Beans Go channel, here for our Week 12 NFL picks, where we talk about spreads and totals, and only the OGs come by to see what we have to say. The least viewed video of the week, and for good reason, because I suck. I don't know I'm done. If I wasn't committed to making this video every week because I had started doing it and said I was going to do it, I'd stop, all right? And you should stop tailing me. That's that. I know this video is late today, and it's because I was working on this video that is now live on this channel, and I go over if Travis Hunter should win the Heisman Trophy. I know some of you who are watching this are NFL guys. You may not care about college. I put some time into this. I went back and I looked at previous Heisman winners that weren't quarterbacks, that weren't running backs, compared stats. I talk about a lot of things in here. So if you want to go check that out, it's 13 minutes long. I'm wearing the same shirt as you can see. I was hard at work today, so I apologize for this video being out later than it usually is, and it's because I was working on that video. Okay. I guess the good news is I went 3, and this should say 1. I went 3-1 last week in my extra most bestest picks. I'll fix that, so I apologize. But it won't change anything. We still are having an awful season, and especially at our good picks or our optimistic picks. So that's horrible. And you guys didn't do much better. It was my best week last week at extra most bestest picks, hitting the Saints, the Colts, and the over. In the other games, my only other pick was the 49ers minus infinity, and they lost outright. So I misread that one. And I can't say that I'm too upset about it, but I am upset that I lost my extra most bestest pick. So the funny thing is, I did my best. You guys did your absolute worst. There were no correct picks, and you guys can go back and look. Correct me if I'm wrong. I may have missed one. I double-checked. So we'll talk about this. Brad Rose is trying to figure out my name. He guesses Henry, Theodore, or Arthur. I will say those are too old. My name is not that old. Justin Collins says Tanner or Keaton, which I think are more generationally accurate. Those are closer in terms of like the style of my name. Okay, so Justin Collins is closer than is Brad. But keep up the guesses, guys. It's a fun little game we got. Here are the bye weeks, lots of them. Falcons, Bills, Bengals, Jaguars, Saints, and Jets. And a lot of these teams need it, so good for them. Here we go. Thursday night, Pittsburgh and Cleveland. I like Pittsburgh minus 3.5. I like the over, but zero confidence in any. It's a divisional matchup. I talk about those often. Russell Wilson looks great. They are coming off a big win against Baltimore. Maybe it's a letdown spot. It's on the road, short week. Anything can happen. I would stay away. Minnesota and Chicago. Chicago looked better last week with a new offensive coordinator, and they played a tough competition in the Packers. They are at home yet again, and I think that serves them well here. I'll take them plus 3.5. I don't love it. I would take the over 39 with a little more confidence. Detroit and Indy. Typically, a touchdown and a half spread scares me away, but with the Lions, they have no problem blowing teams out and running up the score, and I think that's very possible to do against the Colts. I like the under 50.5, though, pretty strongly. I can see this being a 28 to 13 type of game where the Lions get out and control it early. The Colts struggle to put up any points. So that's what I like here. Probably my most confident pick of any of these on this first 3 set of games would be the Colts and Lions under. Moving on to the next 3 games, we have Patriots-Dolphins. Patriots look pretty good. The Dolphins, I realize, have their full talent back, and they are making a very unreasonable push at the playoffs. I don't think it's going to be enough, even if they win quite a bit of games. They have a tough schedule, really, all things considered, still to come this year. So I like the Patriots on the road, plus 7.5. Drake May looks good. I also like the over. Tampa Bay off a bye. Mike Evans is practicing and plans to play this week, which will be good. The Giants are starting Tommy DeVito. They're benching Daniel Jones. We saw some success with DeVito last year. I don't know how that's going to translate this year, but I do think a matchup against the Buccaneers is pretty good for him. That's why I like the over. I would take Buccaneers minus 6, but I think it's going to be high scoring. So my favorite pick for actually these 3 games are the over. Dallas and Washington, no idea what to expect here. I would take Dallas plus 10.5, and I would take the over in very low confidence plays. Cooper Rush throws for 350 yards on, Monday night? They lose by 19, 20 points. So he's getting a rhythm, offensively at least, but this defense is just not doing anything. And I think Jaden Daniels could have a big game. That's why I like the over, although it's not a very confident pick because, say the line, Bart. It's a divisional matchup. Moving on to the next 3 games. Kansas City Chiefs, Carolina Panthers. I take the Panthers plus 11 because that spread is huge and the Chiefs struggle to win largely against anyone, win bigly against anyone. I'd like the under 42.5 as well. Chiefs defense is pretty good. Panthers might not score more than 7 points. I could see this being 14-6. Okay, just an ugly game. Tennessee and Houston, a divisional matchup. Houston is maybe in what we call a letdown spot, playing a short week, having to come back home and face a familiar foe. Plus 8.5 over 41. Don't love either of those, really. Broncos and Raiders. Broncos look good. Their defense especially looks good. Raiders don't look good. So I just think that 40.5 is low. So I would take the over. I'd take Broncos -5. I think the Raiders could put up 17-20, and I think the Broncos could put up 28. So it's kind of where my head's at for that one, but kind of medium confidence, nothing I would actually put money on. Here it is, first extra most bestest, and the only, I will warn you, extra most bestest, and we're going back to it. I don't believe in what Seattle did against the Niners. It's a fluke, and if the Cardinals lose or the Seahawks win, is another way to say that, I'll be done fading the Seahawks. Maybe they got it figured out over the bye week. Maybe they got some things hammered out. I think last week's win was more about the Niners missing pieces, not playing well down the stretch, having some unfortunate things, injuries, Joey Bosa or Nick Bosa, that kind of stuff, more than it was about Seattle looking dominant. So I like the Cardinals off a bye this week to come in, take care of business on the road, keep hold of the NFC West title spot, but I like the under. In this one, under 47.5. Niners-Packers should be a good one. Brock Purdy's injured. I think George Kittle's going to try to play. They're not worried about Purdy's injury, though. He should be a full go. I still like Packers -1.5. They're falling off a little bit. I am a little concerned about the Packers. They had a really strong start to the year, which is keeping their season and playoff hopes afloat, but I think it's overrated a little bit. I think maybe they're worse than their projection says they are. Under 47.5 would be the side of the total that I like. Eagles and Rams, sneaky one here. Rams come back home. They know, I think, that their playoff hopes are kind of determined on the outcome of this game, and it's a big game, and I think they will do what it takes to stop the run. And if they stop the run, I know the Eagles' secondary has been much improved over the last few weeks, but this will be the first test, true, honest, authentic, raw test with Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp that the Eagles have seen. So we'll see if the cream has risen to the top for the Eagles or if they've just played soy milk, if we're going to use lactose and non-lactose-based analogies here. I just think the Rams are going to test them more than the Eagles have been tested. So Rams +3 in the under, but I don't love either. And finally, Monday Night Football, we got the Harbaugh brothers bonanza, the Jim versus John, jolly old Saint, SoFi Stadium. I don't know. They're playing. And I give the edge here to the team that has a little bit more momentum, which is Jim Harbaugh's team, the Chargers. Take on +3. But more importantly, I like the under. I think this is a game where you're going to see a lot of running, a lot of defense, a lot of slowing down, a lot of calculated plays, a lot of, neither one of these teams wants to get in a shootout with the other. So the key to victory, I think, for both of these teams is to play slow, play low, run the ball, win by a field goal. So I really like the under 49. All right. One extra most bestest pick this week, and it's the Cardinals -1. Make sure you drop your extra most bestest picks below, and hopefully you guys can have better luck than you did last week, because by golly, it was atrocious. Keep guessing my name. Keep watching my other videos if you don't mind. And I'll leave you with this.